Okay, everybody, welcome to the Parents and Caregivers as Partners with TDSB conference. I hope everyone's been able to attend some of the sessions this morning. This is one of our virtual sessions. I hope you're in the right place if you're looking for wellness and mental health supported by technology. My name is Andrea Taskey Trusty, and I will be your host for the next 45 minutes. So thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, comments, you want to introduce yourself, please go ahead and enter something in the chat pod. I'm also happy to see faces if you like, or to share. We'll hopefully have some time at the end if you'd like to turn your mic on and share any ideas or questions. So welcome to everybody. Before we get started, I would like to acknowledge the traditional lands that we are meeting upon, whether you're at home, anywhere you are across GTA, perhaps even further, and joining us today virtually, and that we are situated on the traditional territories. These territories include the Wendat, the Anishinaabe, the Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Mississauga of the New Credit, and the Métis Nation. I'd also like to recognize the enduring presence of all Aboriginal and Indigenous people of this land. So part of the session today will be trying some different strategies through technology to support our children's, our students, our nieces, nephews, friends, and our own mental health. So I'm going to ask you just to take just a minute, and I'm going to play this video and walk you through one of the activities that I do in my classroom and also at home. So you'll see here a virtual mind jar, as I like to call it. I invite you to choose a sparkle from the top of the jar, or if you're feeling adventurous today, from the bottom, and follow it up. You'll notice that the glitter will twist and turn, flip, or simply float down. If your glitter seems to disappear into the abyss of the mind jar, just simply choose another one. We can try to match our breath to the speed of the glitter. I'm noticing that more has settled, and when I notice that, I feel myself settle a little. And I even feel my body sinking into my chair with the glitter. Take a deep breath if you can. Relax your shoulders. And just like that, and in life, there is a pause to our calm. Sorry, that was a quick touch of my arrow key, but I was about to just pause there, even though I'd love to do that activity for much, much longer. That is a link to a 2-hour virtual mind jar. Yes, I've played it into its entirety. The music definitely helps as well. Hello, my name is Andrea Taskey Trusty. As I said earlier on, I come to you as a teacher with the Education Community Partnership Program. I work in partnership with Humber River Hospital on the Child and Adolescent Mental Health Unit. I have a classroom there where I see in and outpatient students anywhere from ages grade 2 to grade 12. I'm also a digital lead learner mentor, which seems like a lot of titles. So basically, I work with a community of teachers across the TDSB to support each other and to support others in utilizing technology in the classroom. And I'm a special ed teacher. I'm a technology specialist as well. I have some training in cognitive behavior therapy. And probably my biggest qualification is I'm a mom. So before we get started, if you are able to and you're joining us live, I'd love to know who is in the room today. Who are we talking to? I will be talking about a variety of different strategies. Some are more fitted for younger students. Some might be for some older children. I will say children and kids interchangeably today, which basically means anybody across, anybody who has a parent, so any age, but also are you here just curious for someone else or maybe a little bit for yourself as well? So go ahead and add it in the chat, or if you have another device and you want to use a phone or something like that, you can scan the QR code and do a participant check-in. That also just lets me know if there's any questions that you would like answered. Hopefully I'll be able to fit them in at the end. And also curious who is interested in a session like this today so that I know how I could tailor it to people's better needs and which people who I'm not reaching yet, who I'd like to do what I can there. So I'll give you just a second to do that. I'm going to check the chat on my other computer. I have two running just so I can see what you're seeing today. You could also click that link right there, the bit.ly link under the QR code, and you could fill that out as well. So let's see. Hi, Paul. Nice. You have two kiddos. Welcome, Paul. And you're on school council. Great. Hi, Cheryl. Awesome. And everyone else, welcome too. Please keep the chat going. I will try to check in. If there's anything in specific you'd like me to address today, please let me know and I'll do my best. Also, if you're watching this later, please feel free to check in with the QR code or the link as well, because I'd like to hear from you. I'll also send out any resources we have after the session. Okay, what are we going to cover in the next 40 minutes now? So here's our agenda. We're going to talk about what is mental health, get on some common vocabulary and language. What can we do to support our child's mental health? How does technology play a role in all of this? And I'm hopefully going to get through some demonstrations. If we run out of time, I made sure they're all there in the presentation. You could check them out later. Okay, what is mental health? These words have been more popular, especially since the pandemic lately. People are talking about it, mental health, mental well-being. And I just wanted to clarify the perspective that we're speaking to on today. So mental health falls on a spectrum, a bit of a Cartesian plane, if you will. And this resource I got from CAMH. I thought it was a really good explanation where any of us at any point in time can be anywhere on this plane. There are two different terms. There are mental illness and mental health. When we're talking about mental illness, that is something that is neurological, biological, something that's within us. Mental health is how we are coping with that. So someone could have no mental illness, but have a very poor mental health day or a period of time. So that could be at a time during high stress, loss of a loved one, living through a pandemic, giving a presentation, just kidding, I love this. Or you can also have someone who has severe mental illness, but having a very good mental health period, day, time. For example, someone who has a diagnosis and they have it under control with strategies, they're getting help, perhaps medication, different variety of factors. So everyone, all of us here and everyone out there is falling somewhere on this spectrum right now, and it may shift in the next few minutes, few days, few years. So just something always to keep in mind. So when we talk about mental health again, mental health is not mental illness. So mental illness would be a condition of thinking, mood, or behavior that impacts and the function of our life. That can include anxiety, depression, and other mood disorders, ADHD, ADD, eating disorders, schizophrenia, and there are many more ones out there. When we talk about mental health, we're talking about our abilities to enjoy life, reach our goals, cope with life stressors, and our spiritual and emotional well-being. One stat I've seen, and this kind of changes and ebbs and flows depending on the studies that you're reading, but about 1 in 5, sometimes they say even 1 in 3, children and youth in Ontario will experience some form of mental health challenge, and 5 out of 6 of those will not receive treatment that they need. So that's one reason why I really enjoy talking about this, why I work with the partnership that I do, because we really are hoping to reach as many caregivers and kiddos alike to make sure everyone gets the support they need. And so why should we be including regular mental health care for children? And I focus on the word regular, and for children too. It's something that even super young kiddos, JK, I see we have some parents with young children here today. Why should we start talking about it now? Well, let's talk about that. For one, here is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I find mental health goes right at the bottom of this pyramid, the support, the foundation of our children being the best that they can be. When a child's mental health, when our mental health as well is doing well, our safety needs are being met, we are feeling loved and belonged, and that can even be a part of our physiological needs as well. And once those needs are met and or being supported, then our kiddos can be the best they can be. So one area that's a definite plus when our mental health is in a good space is our attention and our kiddos' attention. Improved attention helps them do better at school, at home, in their extracurricular activities. Attention's a great skill to have. Compassion. When your mental health is in a good space, you're able to be more compassionate to others, as children are to each other as well. Emotional regulation. We'll talk about it a couple more times today as well, but emotional regulations, we all have emotions. They all go up, they go down, they go sideways, they turn around. The more that we practice our mental health strategies and talk about mental health with our children, the more they'll be able to regulate in a safe and healthy way. So they also can be very calming, and we'll look at some activities that are very calming, like the one we just did, and some that are also really energizing as well. But we want to give our children the tools to be able to remain calm when they need to. By practicing and talking about it regularly, if not every day, they'll have those tools to do that. So what can we do to support? So those are some really big things. We see the amazing benefits of supporting our children's mental health. But what can we do as parents or as people who have younger ones in our lives and for just each other? Actually, before I give away all the answers, I was hoping that maybe some of you would feel comfortable sharing a thing or two that you do at home to any kind of strategies or coping that you do in your house or with kiddos that you know or work with to support mental health. Movement. I see movement from Nicole. Healthy eating. Amazing. Thank you, Nicole, for not leaving me hanging. Absolutely. Moving around, exercise. We'll talk about how technology can play a role in that. Eating healthy. Sure, technology can help with that too, but that's always good. The great thing about, and I will flip flop back and forth with strategies in that there's tons of strategies we could do without technology. I just like to throw a spin on it and see what else we can do that technology can help us. Gratitude, 3 good things. That's a great one too. We're going to keep going. Here's a list of a whole bunch of things. You may have seen these. I actually got these shared with me through through social media. There are the sources for those 2 images, lots and lots of ideas. And the great thing is, great parents are already doing a lot of these strategies and they're interested in trying new ones. So just when you think, oh my goodness, what am I, maybe I'm not doing anything, I guarantee you that you already are. So it's always good to look for different strategies. And these are some great images just to give us some ideas too, but we'll talk some more about more today. Okay. Oh, this one kind of got stuck, but the other one thing that we can do to support our strategy is just show compassion and empathy. So by connecting to your children, connecting to each other, showing compassion for community members, other extended family and friends, when you demonstrate and show compassion, then they're able to feel supported, see you supporting others, see you being supported, which is also awesome. And then they're able to show that as well. So that's one thing that you can do. Another thing you can do is just talk to your kids. And I know as the kids get older, sometimes this can be challenging. But things like, how was your day? And a lot of times with their phone, but we can ask more specific questions. I like to ask, what did you learn today? Who was at school today? What did you play at recess? Who are you, and older kids, who are you meeting this weekend? And you have to pepper it in. You have to know your kiddos. I really enjoy talking to my daughter while we're driving and she's in the back seat and I'm in the front seat. Sometimes I find that's a really great time to have some conversations. I know other people do it with their kids while they're shooting hoops, or over dinner is always great. But sometimes, you don't want to feel like you're interrogating the kids, but find out what's going on. What video game are they playing? So there's that technology piece. I started hearing a lot about Discord and Roblox and all this in my classroom. And, I said, what's that all about? What does that look like? Does it have a soundtrack? Can you chat with your friends? Do the friends that you're chatting with, do you know them? Or are they just virtual friends? Lots of things like that, finding out, are there tryouts at school, finding out, are there new students at school, or whatever it is, just talking to your kids on a regular basis, and also demonstrating that for them as well, sharing a bit about your day. If you're coming home and saying, oh, my day at work was fine, maybe share something funny that happened in your day, maybe share something that warmed your heart that you saw that day, or even share something that was very frustrating and how you dealt with that. So just having regular conversation. Another thing you can do, or we can all do, is talk to your kids about emotions. Label them. I always like to look for lots of different ways to explain, even everyone says, I'm stressed. Well, what does that look like? What does that mean? Or, are you sad, disappointed, frustrated? Those are lots of really great, rich words that you want to give our kiddos to use to express themselves. And it's always great to let them know that you can express your emotions and feelings, because they do happen. they do change, especially as they get older and go through puberty. There's tons more emotions, and just letting them know how they can express them in a healthy way, and again, how you do too. And care for mental health is like caring for physical health. It should be something that's regular. If we are practicing mental health strategies, when you need to use them, they will be more readily available. It would be kind of like if someone was very extremely stressed out, or a child was having, a meltdown, or, older or teenagers too, and then suddenly you're like, meditate, go, that can be very challenging in that moment in time. But if that is a strategy that does work for you or for them, and you practice that before that, that would be something, would help kind of curb some of the stronger emotions a little bit and help them calm down before it gets to that point. Also, they would be able to practice it and do a deep breath in the right time, or when they're more available for it. So practicing it regularly does help kind of even you out over the long run, but also helps you engage in those activities when you really need them. And think this might be the last point, but also recognize concerns, and seek support. A lot of the times when I see students in my classroom, it's because they have sought out support, or sometimes also, community members, whether it's teachers or others, have also suggested to seek support as well. But we'll talk about signs at the very end today, about when you can, but at the end of the day, your kiddos best. And if you're not sure how to support their mental health, you could talk to their doctor, even walk-in clinics. If you go in there and talk to the doctors there, they will help you out. There are support lines. Talk to your school. Schools have tons of resources, and they can connect you to the right people. So when in doubt, ask for help. And I think it's a great way to model for your students too, which actually brings me to my true last point about this, is be a role model. You want to be exercising, eating healthy, if you want them to exercise and eat healthy. So if they know that you are doing things for your mental health, it'll be a great example for them as well to try it out, to see you doing it. And a lot of the times, especially our super young ones, they're picking it up, they're practicing, they will see what you're doing, whether you explicitly label it or not, and they will be trying it out too. So, and at the end of the day, it does support your own mental health, which only makes us better parents. So the question is, when are we fitting it in? There's an example of a family schedule, and that's actually a pretty calm one, if you ask me. But when are we fitting in these conversations and these practices and these different things to support our mental health? And part of the answer is routine, routine, routine. Whether it's practicing gratitude before bed, taking deep breaths before we go into an extracurricular activity or something exciting. It could be sharing, the same kind of questions. It could be, how was your day? Or everyone has to answer three things that they were happy about that happened, or one good thing, one sucky thing. There's lots of different ways, lots of different activities and conversation pieces that you can work in every dinner or every morning. Work it into when we call grandparents, that, we're going to work on these questions, and or things like exercise. We'll look at the different strategies, but basically routine, routine, routine. And once it's there, it sticks. It's amazing. And you kind of don't know how you got through the day without it. But a lot of them can be super quick and super fun as well. So fitting them in will actually be awesome. And the other option too is to organize. I have on my phone, I have a little folder that looks something like that, where I have my mental health apps, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and they're all there. And I know they're there. I have them in my pocket. If my daughter had a phone, she would have them on her phone, or whichever one she likes. So having things organized, ready to go by the bed, in the car, wherever you're using these strategies, organize for it. Kind of like having a dish for your keys, so you know where your car keys are at all times. you want to do that with your mental health strategies as well. So what kind of technology do we have? We have tons these days. A lot of people do. We have our smart TVs. We have computers, laptops, Chromebooks, iPads, and other tablets. We have things like our Fitbits. There's actually a great calming breathing activity on Fitbits and Apple Watches. So we have technology all around us. And if you don't have a lot of technology at home, students have it in their classroom, public libraries have it. And again, talk to your schools about support around accessing technology if you don't have any or not enough. So one big thing, we're going to get into some of the tools right now, is self-regulation tools. Different tools can work for different children and people at different times. So that's one reason why we're going to look at a lot of differently, and I'm going to strongly encourage you to try lots of different ones because every day is a little different. Every, person's a little different. If you have lots of or multiple children at home, 2, 3 more, each kid might be very different and what works for them. So you want to try them all. I always encourage them to try different, and you to try different things just to see what works for you. And I love this GIF. Jeff, is when you're not sure you're getting it right, that's okay. Just try it. If it's all about how it makes you feel, not the way you look. And again, different days, different things. Something that you tried and maybe felt silly one day might be exactly what you need the next. So why technology and mental health? There are lots of great strategies for supporting mental health without technology. So why are we looking into technology when the conversation is about maybe children and teens being on technology too much? I like to answer this with, it is an amazing, powerful tool. How can we use it for some amazing things? So for the first thing is, our children are born in a digital age where this is their comfort zone. This gets their interest. This gets their attention. So if it's something that you're trying to introduce them with, sometimes having something on a screen, having someone else speak to it really does help. There's also a variety of tools. Also, we are busy parents. Sometimes we can't always remember everything that we need to do. We can't always be the expert in everything. So technology really does give us the ability to resource and try new things that maybe we haven't even tried before. And also the quality. There are a lot of great resources out there with experts in the mental health field in creating some of these resources. They have put a lot of time, effort, and money into some of these resources. So they might know these strategies better than we do. Sometimes you can adapt them after you've practiced them a little bit with the technology, but it's based on some place from great resources. So that's always good too. Right, so how can technology support mental health? One thing that I like to do, which is a really great way for a buy-in for other people just trying it for the very first time, is I would say rate, review, and subscribe. And I think the YouTube video, so, click down here, click the likes, all that. But you try it out, have your children try it out and say, oh yeah, that worked for me. That didn't work for me. We'll talk about a variety of just even breathing apps. And some of them I like, some of them work for me. Some students love other ones. So have them reflect on them and find ones that they like. It's also a great way to say, hey, I'll often say, oh, I'm just trying this out for my class, or I'm just trying this out. Do you mind checking it out and let me know what you think? And that's also a great way to expose them to some new strategies as well. A big thing before we were really handing over any technology or sharing technology with our kiddos, we always want to have a really good conversation about the internet. The internet is not the device in their hand. It really is the whole world. And our kiddos have access to the whole world. And sometimes the world has access to them. So just having really good conversations, because we know already, especially since the pandemic, that Our children are already on technology for a very large variety of reasons. So we want to make sure that we have some good conversations on some rules, some ground rules. So I always say we want our expectations of kiddos online, it is in my house and in my classroom, that they are to act the same online as they do out in the community. If I would drop off a child at the mall or in a public library or at school, how would I expect them to act in that physical world is the same politeness, manners, respect for others. I expect them to be online as well. A good general rule is if you wouldn't do it in person, or if you don't want your parents to see it or grandparents, then they shouldn't do it online as well. And if they feel uncomfortable with anything online, that they should talk to a trusted adult. So just let them know that, and that whether it's you or an aunt or an uncle or a teacher, to let them know that they could always check in. Hey, I saw this video and they said this. People are using this word. I have a student who regularly comes and asks me about slang words, and sometimes I'm learning something new. But they said, somebody called this, I didn't think it was a good thing. Is it? So having those open again, and that kind of goes to one of our earlier points, is talking to our kiddos about what's going on online all the time. I listened to this great podcast. We'll also talk about that as a digital tool. And Dr. Kang really broke down the different kinds of technology and how healthy it is. Sorry, the image, the toxic's supposed to be up in the other corner, just kind of got shoved when I went to present mode here. But we want to talk about healthy technology, junk technology, and toxic technology. When we're engaging in technology in a healthy way, our mood, our health is being improved. We're connecting, creating, we're learning, we're laughing, we're bonding, we're sharing. Those are great uses of technology. Junk technology is a little bit when it's kind of being a little persuasive. They're trying to get your likes and your clicks and your subscriptions and whatnot. Sometimes it's just mindless, it's nonsensical, it's just silly, or people just zoned out. That is okay. I look at it like junk food. It's okay to have a little treat every now and then. It's okay to scroll through the social media or whatever it is and just kind of have some kind of power downtime, if you will. That's okay, but you don't want it all the time, just like food. And then the last one is toxic. Again, apologies for that heading being pushed over to the next line, but that's where we're seeing the cyberbullying, the FOMO feelings, the fear of missing out, people feeling stressed and mood. And that's when we really need to have another look at how technology is being used. So if you wanted to hear more about that, you could click on the link at the bottom there where it says where you are, and there's a great interview about all that. So some of the benefits that technology and caring for our mental health are body breaks, right? We already had someone share about using movement as a mental health strategy. It does increase self-esteem, confidence. It helps prevent disorders like depression, anxiety, chronic pain. It really helps almost everything, which is really great. And there's lots of different ways we could do it. It does reduce tension and stress. And it really does strengthen a mind-body connection. So how do we do that with technology? There's lots of great sites. Hopefully during the pandemic, you've seen a few that maybe teachers were sharing or you looked up on your own, but there's lots of things like Go Noodle, Cosmic Yoga. Those are some of my favorite that we would do, something that we would even throw on at home if my daughter's been sitting and doing a lot of homework or we just haven't gone outside, maybe it's the weather and we have an exercise, we'll throw on any of these videos and we're moving for 5 to 10 minutes and we'll notice that our mood improves, our energy improves, and a really simple routine, and it's something that the kids have a lot of fun with and they might even bring up. So here is, I'm just going to keep an eye on the time. Oh my goodness, we're running out of time already. But here's the demo of the Cosmic Kids. Here is a demo of the Go Noodle. see if they loaded up. Oh, here they are. Even TikTok dances. I actually created an account just for you guys today to get some demos of a few. I don't know if they're going to start playing, but there's lots of examples of families having fun. The busy page. Okay, the recommendation would be don't have them all playing at the same time. Okay. Another thing that technology can offer us is mindful moments that helps us with our concentration, our self-regulation, anxiety, like maybe how I'm feeling right now after all those videos just started at the same time. Here's an example of a flow. I got this one from YouTube. There's another great one where they walk you through a mindful activity. Here are some iPad apps and iPhones. Those are the devices I have. I think there's lots and lots of different kinds of phones and tablets out there. These are just the ones I have experience with. But again, go try, rate, review, and have your kiddos try them out. So if you click on any of these in the presentation, they'll bring you right to the app for you to download and try. It's just a quick demo. Here's one of my favorite ones. Actually, this one was chosen by my students, is the one that's their favorite in the classroom. And it just walks you through inhaling and exhaling. Which again, I'd love to do this for a very long time. There's lots of different ways you could customize the apps, which is why they're great. Headspace is another great app. They have a free version and a paid version as well. I use it for myself as an adult, but it has a lot of great illustrations for kiddos too. Coloring book app, mindful coloring, not always accessible to bring all your pencil crayons where you're going. You could do it on your phone or an iPad. This is another one, great one for kids. Again, I'd love to sit and demonstrate them all, but we are a little bit crunched for time today, but I do encourage you to try them all out. Another great thing I've been playing with too is I have a bird and a plant identification app on my phone when we're walking around. A great way to connect our kiddos and ourselves to the world around us. I had a student in high school tell me that there are no birds in Toronto. So we went for a walk and was shocked to find that we have hawks. Well, they knew about the Canadian geese. I'll give them that much, but they said just Canadian geese and seagulls. And we actually found about 5 or 6 different species on a short walk around the hospital, and we were able to identify them with the apps by their bird calls. A great way also to look at the different plants and do some research on them. So that's always a great way to use technology to connect ourselves with nature. Another great technology tool are Chrome extensions. If you're unfamiliar with Chrome extensions, they are the little images that are in your upper corner of your browser that you can add to your Chrome browser. All of our students at TDSB have Chrome student logins. And so this would be something that's available to them, but also available to you. Most of them are free. And a lot of them have settings where they will start while you are, it's a quick demo. So one of them will automatically, you could set it on a timer every 10 minutes, half hour, however you would like to program it. The screen will block out anything you're working on, which can cause stress. But that was just a 10-second deep breath, which is a great reminder for yourself and for your kiddos who are studying, maybe just to take a minute. Podcasts I mentioned earlier. There's some great podcasts out there. 2 of these are for kids, specifically about mindfulness and mental health. Catch Up one is more about parenting. Get out there, try different ones. Always preview whatever your kiddos are listening to, but for yourself, there's lots of ones out there. Find the ones that work for you. Music is motivating. It could bring us up, it could calm us down, and it's a great way to express ourselves. So we all can access our music on technology now. different, either through YouTube or iTunes, Spotify, anything like that, or just the radio. That's still technology. There's a demonstration of Spotify. Sorry, I know I'm going through them really quickly, but we don't have tons of time today. But again, I encourage you to go through slowly. Using social media for positive mental health sometimes doesn't connect with everybody. That is how it can be used. You could connect with communities, social networks. You are able to cross geographical barriers, and you could also learn different things through social media. Here are just a bunch of my favorite Instagram posts that just warm my heart. And it's something that I will share on a regular basis with my family, things that have made me laugh, things that have, warmed my heart. And it's just a great way to share. Like, who doesn't feel instantly better? Pep talks. There are some great pep talks out there. Here are two of my favorite ones. Always good to hear. Maybe just have it playing or watch it with your children as well. I have 4 minutes. GIFs, whatever you call them. I actually use them for mental health as well, not just to respond in a text. This one I'll put on my screen sometimes and just leave it. It's just what you see right now. It's very calming. My voice even changed just looking at it. So there's lots of different ways you can look at that. It's also a really great way for our children to communicate their feelings as well. Sometimes these, are able to share something about them that they may not have the vocabulary or be able to talk to you about and let you know how they're feeling. So this is just an example of some that I use with my students. Adorable well-being, one of my favorite sciences. I actually dove into this quite a bit a few years ago because, what's up with everyone sharing cat videos and whatnot. I actually made this compilation with some backup science research. So please watch this. I think it's about 10 minutes long. Watch it with your kiddos later. It's just a bunch of cute animals, but it does show that it helps you feel relaxed, less stress. It can increase productivity when you take a couple minutes, calm down, watch, a cute puppy video or something, and then you're able to go back to your life. So that's great as well. And hilarious well-being, also one of my favorite. Cracking a joke, whether it's listening to something funny, a funny podcast, which I like to do, watching a funny video, sharing pictures. I also like to send funny things that I think is funny to other people and get them laughing. So that's always a great way to support your mental health as well. Here are some more videos. Again, good use of technology, watching and learning about mental health with children. These 4 videos are actually used for children and for students. My daughter has watched them all, and so has my class. So they're really great ones. I recommend them. And there's also tons out there for adults and parents alike. So signs and symptoms, we do need to remember that different moods, thoughts, and behaviors are a normal part of a child development, especially in those early teenage years and late teenage years when kids are growing. That actually starts right as soon as they start school. Outbursts of anger, doing sleep inconsistencies, eating inconsistencies. Some of this is within the normal range when you should maybe talk to someone, or what signs of concern usually are when they're a little bit more intense or very intense compared to what they usually are, if they persist over a long time, if they're inappropriate for their age. And at the end of the day, when they interfere with their life, when it interferes with school, with the relationships at home, relationships with friends, and their physical health as well. So that's when you want to look out and for some help. Again, teachers, schools, pediatricians, anybody that can help. So just remember, some of this is normal, but again, you know your kiddos best. some more resources. I have a couple pages. This is a great source. Common Sense Media has a lot of resources on different technology and mental health and how to use technology. And Media Smarts, also a Canadian resource with a lot more resources there. You could click on any of those topics and they're all linked to those sources for you. There's some of the sources that I spoke about today. A video that I strongly encourage you watch on your own time. One of my favorite ones. I watched it yesterday with my class. And I believe that's time, almost to the minute. So thank you very much for coming. Sorry for the speed in which we went through everything. Hopefully you took away something that you can use. Please feel free to contact me on my email. I'm on Twitter once to twice a week. And I also have a teacher support website and a classroom website too. So I encourage you to visit me there. I also have an Instagram account, which will be linked in my email. And just remember, it's okay if you fall apart sometimes. Tacos fall apart and we all still love them. So thanks everyone for coming. I'll hang out for a couple minutes if anyone has any questions. Thank you.